I've left my wooden spoon somewhere. That's not good. All right. Oh. Tragic situation. Okay. Oh, and I should do this. All right. Okay. Thank you for coming back. All right. So, I know you're sort of obliged to at some point, right? So, but still. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit more about, and I think this will probably do for the branching network stuff, kind of cast in this version of river networks. But as I've said, we're going to connect to blood networks, and that's a whole big story, right? So it starts to connect into ecology, really. So, you know, how do you, you've got all these organisms all running around doing things, and they all have their own little supply networks, keeping them running. So, and they're eating things and each other. It's all very unpleasant, really. And depends who's in charge, I suppose. But so we'll get to that, right? So that's a big deal. We're worried about energy usage as humans, a little bit, some of us. What is it? Bitcoin's going to take over? What are the estimates? Like in about 5 years, all Bitcoin calculations will require like the sun or something? Yeah. So that's going to work out. I don't understand Bitcoin. That's about as much as I can tell you. What's that? It's like a little server farm on Nauru or something. What? Yeah.
It's no longer profitable to mine Bitcoin on anything except purpose-built hardware for mining Bitcoin. You lose more money on electricity than you make on Bitcoins.
It just seems to have gone in the wrong direction. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, so I guess, you know, that's the question. Like, does something else emerge that takes off, right? Like, this was the leader at the start, and I know we're talking about Bitcoin, but the leader at the start, but does it replace? Does the concept win? Does the concept win?
Well, as a consequence, GPUs are just like skyrocketing in price.
Oh, because people want, yeah.
Yeah, and I find it
Thanks, guys.
very similar to like what happened with the California gold rush. People
Yeah.
mining gold didn't make all the money. Like sold the equipment, made all the money.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Also tulips. Yeah. I mean, if you want to make a lot of money, it's always good to be in the in-between bit, right? Like FedEx or UPS or Amazon. Don't actually do any. Like, yeah. Do the connecty bit. Yeah. Like Facebook. Okay, but it's true. I mean, yeah. Who I guess makes a lot of money actually, right? Facebook. Anyway. All right. Sorry. Okay. So the cat check. This is a classic Pratchett situation where I'm feeding him with treats. He gets up and very, very gently eats them out of your hand. It's really fantastic. Here he was likened to Pusheen by a commenter, which is fair. He is handsomely shaped, I think is the correct term. Anyway, our little beastie. Anyway, I spent the first 10 minutes of the day patting him. It's a pretty good way to start the day. Okay, for everyone concerned. Sure, a few things. If you're having trouble with tar, some of the files for the, right, so the first assignment's due in a week from tomorrow, I suppose, but there are some .tgc files. So this is short for .tar.gz, so this is gzip, which is the Unix's GNU's zip. So if you haven't seen this, this is the usual old silliness from Unix, which is GNU's not Unix. And this is just a combining thing, right? So it loops, it just sticks everything together. Anyway, there are also just .zip files, so you can just use those. Hey. But to undo these things, if you have a foo.tgz, it's just tar. If if you're on a command line, and I guess you know this, it depends on fpz. I like to do that. H even to preserve permissions. So this is absurd. I realize we're in absurd territory, but this means extract. This you have to tell it's a file. It's not a tape drive, which is what tar presumes. It presumes you're using tapes. Old command, right? So you actually have to say we're dealing with a file, which is this new thing that people have thought of. Right? Okay, whatever. Or yeah, or it's on a, and that means it's zipped up. But the point, I'm showing this a little bit because here's our XKCD joke, right? Which is, tar is an easy thing to mess up, like a lot of little command line things. But I feel like I could save the world. Of course I would destroy it, but yeah. Added a few little things here. What's that? The no Googling? Oh yeah, no Googling. Yeah, right. No Googling people. I'm going to make this a little better, but so Network X is really, I guess, the standard. Is that what people have been? I know a few of you have been. Fair enough. A lot of the questions that I kind of have asked in the past, it's just like push a button in Network X. So we can talk about that. You got to find the right button. And then this is for Python. This is advised by one of our current students in the class. Said, this is a good thing, but it's a bit old. Okay. This is a little extra piece. Nicky Case has been making lots of interesting things. So if you've been in POX, you would have seen us mess around with triangles, which would have been, where she got that one? But that's the shelling model, right, of segregation. She does some fun things. Oh, here it is, sorry. Parallel of the polygons. So she's got a new one. It's just sort of starting off. But the idea, and so if you've been in POX, and this is sort of a thing we'll talk about again, I suppose, you can make your own little network, right? Somewhat laborious, but there you go. And change them. And then this is so the idea is this person thinks, in this tiny little world, right? 2 friendships. We'll get to social networks. No one has any friends here. But in this case, you see the little counts. This is the influence type models, the threshold type models. This one sees 2 out of 2 of their friends are alcoholics. I mean, this is or binge drinking. That's different, I guess. Binge drinking, which is an issue on the north of the 48 states. So now 2 out of 3, right? So, your knowledge of the world really depends finally on this network. This one now sees. So this one now, has these 2 friends. So if you have some sort of influence mechanism on this, then you imagine that this character feels very lonely. But there's a whole game here, and we've talked about this, but you can make it yourself, the majority game, right? Where you see a network and you think, okay, well, there are only 4 binge drinkers here. But because of the structure, it can be a little complicated, right? So this one has, 2 friends, and you can add tons and tons of links. You can have this sort of thing where easily the average person thinks the majority of of everyone in this population is a binge drinker, right? So you can get this very skewed. So that's the idea, right? So see, fooled 1 out of 12 peeps, right? So this one doesn't think so. You have to make it a majority, right? So it has to be 2 out of 3. It's a bit counterintuitive and odd. It connects to this other rather disappointing thing, which is that your friends are better than you. They're certainly different to you, but one of the, in a very basic aspect, if you have a bare network, on average, you pick a random node, then its friends will have more friends than them. It's just true of bare networks. Very disappointing. But it connects to other things like wealth and all sorts of other aspects that have, if they have anything to do with degree, number of friends a node has, then you start to see odd things, whether you are picking someone at random or picking an edge and then traveling along it. Okay. Anyway, I've sort of shown some of her things. It's sort of the best of these little play around games that are online now. I think she's done a beautiful job. She's done some things with right. So this one is with Vi Hart. It's Vi. You say Vi. I guess she's Violet. Who's got a ton of stuff online for math, right? She's lots of fun little things on YouTube, and she does beautiful things. Has people seen, right? They're very, yeah. Okay. Anyway, so good team.